Someone requested that I make a video talking about how I annotate my books, and I was gonna do that this week, but then I saw that my good friend Autumn made a book annotating tag video, and I really liked the questions on there, so I'm gonna be following the questions from the book annotating tag, and then if it doesn't cover what I was gonna talk about before, then I'm just gonna talk about that afterwards. If you haven't seen her video yet, I highly recommend that you go watch it because it really looks like she really loves annotating her books. I'll leave the link to Autumn's video in the description if you want to check that out because I really enjoyed watching her video. Also, thank you to everyone who watched my birthday video. It was kind of like a last minute thing that I decided to do, and I said in the video that I don't really like to make two series of videos, but I had a lot of fun making that video and I was honestly really scared to post that. But then when I watched it all over again, I was like, this made me smile and whatever, you know? If you haven't watched that video, then I did talk about how I was not going to be posting twice a week anymore just because school is starting, and I also wanted to make better videos. So I'm hoping that I do come up with better video ideas, or maybe even like just better quality videos, but we'll see. And also I was thinking about like making bonus videos anytime I just want to make an extra video in the week. So there will always be a chance that I'll come out with a video a second time in the week. I think that's all I had to say, and let's get into the book annotating tag. I forget who made the original book annotating tag, but I will leave their video or their channel in the description because I want to give them credit for this. So the first question is, do you mark your annotations with page flags? The answer to that question is yes, I do. In fact, page flags are the annotations that I use the most. I like to use page flags the most just in case I want to take it out and like give the book away or something, because it's really easy to just take them out. I use these page flags. Everything that I mentioned will be linked in the description, by the way. So I use these page flags to mark my spots in the book. They don't have a brand on them. I got these like a long time ago and I accidentally bought like a million of these, so I'll probably be using these for the rest of my life. They're really good too. They don't stick to the page too hard because sometimes I do mess up in like sticking it on the page, and then when I take it off and put it back on again, I don't want the words to come off with it, and it doesn't do that. They're also kind of see-through, so you can see right here that you can see through the little page flags. I also call these tabs. I don't call them page flags, I call them tabs. Oh, and I really like these also because they have a lot of colors. Second question is, do you match flags to the book cover, or do you have a set flagging system? I do not have a set flagging system, or what am I saying? I do not match the flags to the book, but I do have a set flagging system, which I have written down because sometimes I actually forget some of them, but thankfully I have them written down. I'll have a picture right here of what the colors mean. But pink is for love, like I love this quote. Orange is for angry. This is mostly like stuff that made me angry in the book. It could be like something that happened that was supposed to make me angry, or just things that I did not like about the book. Yellow is shocking or a plot twist. Green is like world building or like any information that I want to mark. I probably use the green one and the pink one the most. Blue is sad. Dark purple is relatable, so that would mean like anything that happened in my life that also happened in the book, or like if the character is having like any inner dialogue that I really relate to. But yeah, it's pretty much anything that I can relate to. The regular purple is like funny or confused, because I know that some books are meant to be funny and some books aren't. I don't have another color for like confusion, so I decided to make this one like mean two different things. And I don't think I've ever actually used it for funny, but I have definitely used it for confused. The third question is, what is the first book you ever annotated? I think the first book that I ever annotated was Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, which is right here. This was before I became like a huge reader. I got this book and I started to underline it. I didn't underline that many places, but I know I did. There's some stuff in here that I definitely underlined, and I also dog-eared a lot of the pages in this book. I just thought this book was like a really great book when it came to like thinking about your own personal suffering and stuff like that. Yeah, there were just a lot of things in this book that I wanted to mark down, so I did that. And then funnily enough, after that I didn't really mark any books until I started more recently again. The fourth question is, have you ever been against annotating books? And the answer to that question is no. I have no issue with people doing whatever they want to their books. It's their books, they bought them. For me personally, I don't think I've ever really been against annotating books for myself, but like I said, I did annotate that one, and then there was a period of time where I didn't annotate any books. I think that was just because I didn't really understand what I wanted to annotate, or I was trying to get through books without having to do extra work, you know? But yeah, no, I don't think I've ever really been against annotating books. The fifth question is, did you ease into annotating your books or did you jump right in? This is kind of like what I said before. I did annotate that one and then I stopped for a long time. But when I started back up again, I started doing the sticky tabs. I feel like it was a quick transition from not annotating to annotating because I was using the sticky tabs for a little bit and then I felt like the sticky tabs weren't enough, so I started underlining and writing stuff down and putting post-it notes in my books, kind of like all at once. So kind of both, I guess. The sixth question is, do you keep an unannotated version of your annotated books? No, because that would be really expensive. The seventh question is, has anyone ever annotated a book for you? No, I don't understand why anyone would do that, unless you have disabilities, of course. But I feel like annotating is like personal to you. You're the one reading the book, so you mark the pages where you feel like it's important to you. I just think it's like a really personal thing to annotate your own books. Unless of course you have something that prevents you from annotating your own books. But no, no one has ever annotated a book for me. The eighth question is, do you mind used books with annotations already in them? I actually don't mind. There's a few books that I've gotten from used bookstores or those little free libraries, and some of those books already have annotations in them. I really don't mind. I actually think it's interesting to see what the person before me thought about this book, or even like when I borrow books, if my friend has annotations in them, I think it's really interesting to see what they thought of the book and their train of thought. This one that Teresa let me borrow, she put like really big notes in here. This is actually really cute. I just think it's really interesting to see what this person that read it before me, what their train of thought was. And sometimes they have really great handwriting, which makes it all the more special. What I'm not a huge fan of is when people dog-ear their books, but I can't fault them for that because sometimes people don't know, or you know, they owned this book previously, so they did whatever they want. And you saw before that I used to dog-ear my books, so it's not that big of a deal, but I'm just not a fan of dog-earing books anymore. So while I'm going through books that are already like heavily dog-eared, I'll just like, as I'm reading it, I'll just unfold the page. Ninth question is, have you ever gotten hate or horrified stares for writing in your books? No, because for the most part I do my annotations at home. Normally when I'm out in public, I don't bust out all of my supplies and start annotating, so I've never really received horrified stares for annotating my books. But if anyone gives me hate for annotating my books, focus on yourself. It's like I said before, I own these books. I get to do whatever I want with them, just like anyone else gets to do whatever they want with their books. So yeah, I don't really understand why people would hate on other people for annotating books, but I guess people do. The 10th question is, what do you annotate your books with? Like I said, I use these sticky tabs. To underline, I use these Muji pens. I'm not sure what kind of pens they are. I think they're like gel pens. I have no idea. I can't tell the difference. They're gel ink ballpoint pens and they're in .38. I really like skinny pens. These also don't bleed. This is how it looks on the page. I just really like how skinny they are. I also use post-it notes. Most of the time I will put post-it notes every few chapters or so. I would write down like any information that I feel like I should remember, just because I'm like a really forgetful person, and it makes it easier for me to remember like major plot points if I write them down, especially if I'm making a YouTube video on it. Like I made my Shadow and Bone reading vlogs and I did a lot of notes on these actually. So like here, these are just any post-it notes also, but they're mostly like these square ones. But anyway, I put these post-it notes every few chapters or so, and I'll write down anything that I feel like is important for me to remember, especially if I'm doing videos like for these books where I just like checked in and talked about the next thing that I thought about in the book. The next question is, have you ever regretted annotating a book? I don't think so. I haven't regretted annotating a book yet, but I'm going through Wuthering Heights right now and I don't really like the edition that I have. So I was actually thinking about getting another edition of Wuthering Heights, but unfortunately, since I'm already annotating the copy that I have, there's not really an option for me to sell it or give it away. I mean, I guess I could give it away, but it's just weird to like give something away that you've annotated, in my opinion. It's not that big of a deal if I annotate a book and I end up not liking it, but I guess in the future, if I don't want to regret annotating a book, I'll probably wait until like 50 pages to start actually underlining stuff. The 12th question is, why do you annotate? I annotate because I'm a really forgetful person. I have this YouTube channel where I talk about books, and it would be really unfortunate if I forgot what the plot of a book was. That's exactly why I use those post-it notes, just to like write down the major plot points. Like I said, it would just be really embarrassing for me if I couldn't remember what I thought about a book, you know? The next question is, when underlining, do you use a ruler? I don't have a separate ruler for underlining. Sometimes I will use a bookmark, or most of the time I use the thing that the sticky tabs is on, and I'll just like put it on there because it's kind of like flexible. It'll like wrap on the page or whatever. But no, I don't have a separate ruler for underlining. I just use this. The last question is, do you annotate each book that you read? No, I don't annotate each book that I read. I just don't feel like every single book is that important. Of course, if I borrow a book, I'm not going to annotate it because it's not my book. But as far as all the books that I own, it really depends on the book. But if I'm making a video dedicated to a book, or if I really like a book, normally I will at the very least tab it. If I'm super into a book, I'll go as far as underlining it. But if I really don't care, I won't underline. Most of the time, I actually don't have that much to say. But if I do have something to say, I'll write it in the margins. And then if I'm making a video on the book, or if I straight up really like a book, then that's when I'll use the post-it notes. So that is it for how I annotate my books and the book annotating book annotating tag. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you understood my whole process of annotating my books. If you're a booktuber and you want to do this tag, feel free to do the tag. I'll leave the questions in the description. And if you're not a booktuber, comment down below how you do your annotations, or if you even do annotations. Does everyone annotate? I don't think so. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. All my socials will be in the description, and subscribe because I post new videos twice a week. Oh, once a week. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload, because I might post bonus videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!